The governor addressing the state as COVID-19 cases and deaths continue to increase. Updates on the mask mandate, stage 5, and the member of the governor's administration who now has the coronavirus. Health officials urgently trying to stop a flu outbreak during the COVID-19 pandemic. There is a new and convenient way to get your flu shot. We'll show you.
We know that transportation is a major obstacle for a lot of Marion County residents.
So a group is doing something to make it easier for those who don't have cars or can't drive. Get to the polls to vote. What you need to know. The race for governor, we are putting the spotlight on all three candidates. Tonight, our Rafael Sanchez goes one-on-one with Libertarian Donald Rainwater.
You may have worn shorts today, but soon you'll need to find a jacket. We'll talk about a big pattern change coming up.
Thanks for watching WRTV News at 6. I'm Amanda Starrentino. COVID-19 cases have spiked in Indiana really during the entire month of October so far. And tonight, Governor Eric Holcomb addresses the increase in cases and deaths. We are finding out why we are still in stage 5, the future of the statewide mask mandate, and the member of Holcomb's administration who now has coronavirus. Stephanie Wade is live tonight for us outside of the State House. Stephanie, you were on the governor's Zoom call today and a lot is happening. What can you tell us about that?
A lot happening today, Amanda. You mentioned a member of Holcomb's team testing positive for the coronavirus. We want to say our thoughts are with Dr. Christina Box tonight, the state health commissioner, and her family after announcing they have all tested positive for COVID-19. The governor and other state leaders today will be tested positive as well, and we expect to hear from them tomorrow on their results. But the main message from the governor today is to continue wearing your face masks. He extended the statewide mask mandate for at least another month, and that was set to expire this Saturday. Now, the governor, he is sounding frustrated today with those not following the mask mandate, not being responsible, saying students and staff at schools are leading by a better example, wearing masks all day long, but some adults are not doing the same. In less than a month, Indiana's positivity rate went from below 4% to now 5.3%, again in less than 30 days. Despite the recent increase in cases, Governor Holcomb defended remaining in stage 5, issuing no further restrictions, saying we have proven to be able to safely hold events, sporting events as the example he used, by social distancing and wearing face masks, and that each COVID case we are seeing is a, quote, localized occurrence, saying shutting the state down would be detrimental to people's livelihood.
The pain that will come from assuming that if we just restrict down or shut down and it'll have no adverse impacts, it's our behavior, it is our actions that need to be addressed, and they have to be addressed together.
Now, the governor also told me today he wants people to be asking themselves, what can I do to curb the trend in cases? He does not plan on shutting any schools or any sectors down, but again, just reiterating the need to wear a face mask. Reporting live tonight, Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
Stephanie, thank you for that report. And today, the state reports a decrease in additional COVID-19 cases and deaths, but the numbers are still high. The Indiana Department of Health confirms 1,172 additional cases of the coronavirus. That's a decrease from yesterday. So far, a total of 139,269 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with COVID-19. The state also reports 14 additional deaths. That means 3,609 people in Indiana have died with the coronavirus since the pandemic began. And the Department of Health says about 32% of Indiana's ICU beds and nearly 78% of the state's ventilators are available. To learn more about how COVID-19 is impacting Hoosiers and how you can navigate through this unprecedented time and hopefully thrive, go to WRTV.com/coronavirus. Getting a flu shot in Indianapolis is easier than ever before as the city's EMS agency begins mobilized flu shot clinics where you don't even need to get out of the car. It's part of a new pilot program with the health department in an effort to avoid a flu outbreak as we are dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. WRTV's Megan Sanctorum was there today. She is working to find out how the program works and why some say it will be so important in the future.
Indianapolis EMS is the first in this state to hold a mobilized flu shot clinic like this. Leaders here say not only will it help keep the community healthy, but it will help them as they plan for the future and try to find the best practices for mass vaccination. The parking lot here at Shepherd Community Center on the city's east side, near East Washington and Sherman, has temporarily turned into a free mobile flu shot clinic. People can walk or drive up, roll their window down, and get vaccinated.
I just wanted to, just get this shot to be safe.
James Hill is just one of many who stopped by today.
I had been trying to get a flu shot for a couple months, but I didn't have my Medicaid card. I just turned 65. And so when she told me, I drove on over there.
I don't want to get sick, and I believe in the flu shots, especially working in healthcare. I know the importance of them.
And Linda Locke says it's especially important this year with COVID-19. She says her husband is considered high risk, so this was a good way for them to get vaccinated.
We had looked at the CVS option or Walgreens and this is so much more convenient.
Convenient and quick. EMS leaders are working to find out how many people they can safely vaccinate in a specified time period. So if and when a vaccine for COVID-19 is available, they'll be ready to get it out to the neighborhoods and the people who need it most.
We're going to identify best practice and create that roadmap for other EMS agencies throughout the state to help stand up mass vaccination clinics, not just for flu, future pandemics, and most notably right now with COVID-19.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
The clinics will be held every Wednesday this month at Shepherd Community Center. The hours are 9 to 1 and 4 to 8. Now for our first look at our forecast in the news at 6.
Well, aside from the wind, I'm sorry about that. Jumped the gun. Aside from the wind, temperatures are incredibly mild right now, and it's an enjoyable evening. Look at all that sunshine across central Indiana, and temperatures tonight will stay mild because of the strong southwest wind. A few showers arrive tomorrow, so grab the umbrella as you leave the house and a jacket because temperatures will fall. I think Friday and Saturday morning temperatures are headed into the low 30s. There are the temperatures at 80 or above in western Indiana, well into the 70s elsewhere. The wind will continue to be strong. Our temperatures remain mild all night. When you wake up in the morning, around 60 degrees. It's what happens after that that kind of changes the game. We'll talk about the changes for your Thursday and look ahead toward the weekend coming up.
No car, no problem. As long as you are a registered voter, there's a group that will pick you up and take you to the polls to make sure your vote counts. In the upcoming election, WRTV's Troy Washington explains how the effort started and why it's much needed in Marion County.
We know that transportation is a major obstacle for a lot of Marion County residents, and we wanted to be able to provide a service that was both focused in voter registration, voter education, and transportation.
Go Vote Indy started after 3 strangers met while protesting for change in May. The trio decided to make sure Hoosiers made it to the polls, even if they didn't have a ride.
We met during the protests down at the Monument Circle.
Justin, Amy, and Lindsay got volunteers signed up to drive voters to polling places. Today, we caught up with Amy to tag along for one of those rides.
I signed up on at the bus transit center, and they said they could give me a ride.
Erica Kasulis is working to save money to buy a car, but right now she's relying on public transportation to get around. Since Go Vote Indy is taking her to vote today, she's got one less thing to worry about.
We'll be doing this on Election Day. For early voting, we will be offering rides until Thursday, October 22nd.
The group says they get it. Some voters feel more comfortable voting in person and may be skeptical about mail-in voting. So that's why they exist. Riders concerned about the safety of it all, Go Vote Indy showed WRTV how they are taking away those fears.
In total for early voting, I think we are looking at a little over 20 rides.
Organizers say they've waited in lines up to 4 hours, but it is worth the wait to make sure that every voter makes it to the polls. On the ride over to vote, Kasulis checked out Voter 411 to read up on candidate platforms to get all of her pre-voting jitters out.
Any nerves, or did you feel a little more informed?
I feel a little better, yeah.
Working for you downtown, Troy Washington, WRTV.
And we have info on where you can go to sign up for a ride to the polls when you read this story on WRTV.com. In-person early voting continues to draw a huge amount of voters every day. This is video from this afternoon at the Indianapolis City County building. You have until November 2nd to vote early in person. November 3rd is Election Day. And if you are not able to vote in person and want to take part in absentee voting by mail, you need to file an application for an absentee ballot immediately. October 22nd is the deadline to turn in your application for a ballot. Then when you get your absentee ballot, you must fill it out and send it back in. The deadline to get that completed ballot to your county election office is now noon on Election Day, November 3rd. And we have your complete voting guide on our website that includes all of the dates and rules you need to know, as well as more on the candidates who will appear on your ballot. That's at WRTV.com/election2020. We are continuing to dig into the race for governor in Indiana. Tonight, we sit down with Libertarian candidate Donald Rainwater. The IU basketball team is getting back on the court. Could another batch of talented freshmen lead the Hoosiers this season? And what does the season look like amid the pandemic? We'll head to Bloomington coming up in sports. Welcome back. Our Democracy 2020 coverage now with a look at the race for governor in Indiana. Our Rafael Sanchez reports on the Libertarian gubernatorial candidate looking to stun the Republican and the Democrat in this election.
Donald Rainwater is crisscrossing the state as the Libertarian candidate for governor. Rainwater is a Navy veteran who currently is a software engineer who's now seeking to engineer a victory at the State House and deny the current governor a second term. Rainwater is making a connection with people who support his call for less government and less taxes and who oppose the current governor's actions during the pandemic.
Our Indiana General Assembly many years ago gave the governor unilateral authority during an emergency that has proven to be problematic during this particular crisis.
We sat down with Rainwater in the shadow of the state capitol, where he expressed his priorities.
We are heading into a legislative session in January. What do you see as the number one issue confronting the state as we begin a new year in 2021?
Well, I would like to say that there's 1A and 1B. 1A is asking the General Assembly, which I would do on day one of my administration. The day after the inauguration, I would go to the members of the General Assembly and say, look, we need to fix this so that never again can a governor issue an emergency order and then issue executive orders unilaterally with no end date to when the General Assembly will come back into session and represent the people. I believe that first 100 days, we need to address the economic issues. I hate to say it this way, but Hoosiers need their money back more than the government needs to spend it.
Why should the people of Indiana hire you? Why are you the best candidate in this field of three?
I'm not independently wealthy. I don't have the backing of corporations and labor unions. I'm just a citizen of the state of Indiana who's fed up with what I see going on, and I want to get us back to the constitutional republic that I believe we were intended to be.
Our unedited interviews with all of the candidates running for Indiana governor are posted on our website, WRTV.com/election2020. This is all part of our Democracy 2020 coverage. The pandemic has taken away jobs and created tough financial situations for a lot of people. Through our Hiring Hoosiers campaign, we are finding the companies that are still looking for new employees. It's time for the job feed. Hiring Hoosiers partners Ferion is looking for an operations manager to lead one of their clients' new facilities in Indianapolis. Pay ranges between $65,000 and $85,000 a year, depending on experience. You will be immediately eligible for benefits. Learn more by reading this post on the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page. The Indiana Department of Transportation will hold open interviews tomorrow for more than 100 winter seasonal positions at 11 locations across the state. This is tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have all of the locations and a link to register posted in this story on hiringhoosiers.com. CFA Staffing and NBC Staffing are holding a job fair this Saturday in Plainfield. They have 500 openings featuring both full-time and part-time work. This job fair is happening from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday at 2461 East Main Street in Plainfield. Indiana Mentor is a home and community-based human services provider. They are seeking direct support professionals. You would provide care and support to individuals with disabilities. Find this post on the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page. Kevin.
Amanda, the leaves in everyone's yard getting rearranged this afternoon and moved with these strong winds. This is the latest wind gust. Peak gust so far of 35 in Lafayette. Notice I said so far because I do think we'll see gusts above that, especially north and west of Indy. There's your wind forecast. It will help only slightly that the sun sets. The winds will stay strong as we go through the early overnight, but I think there's something better about a warm wind than that cold, biting wind that we've yet to experience. I show you the radar. No clouds, no rain, but showers return during the morning hours tomorrow. They should be fairly widespread, but we're not expecting much in the way of rain. The spark for the showers will come from the cold front that sits to the north and west up in Minnesota and Iowa. Much cooler air back behind that, and a change in wind direction will do this. It'll send our temperatures falling from the morning hours. You'll wake up and you think, okay, it's still mild. True, but falling. Dress for temperatures in the low to mid 50s because that's where it will be most of the afternoon. Our shower chances probably 10 to about 2 seems to be the most likely time. There we are at 7 a.m. Some of that may not be reaching the ground. It gets a little more enhanced mid-morning, early afternoon, starting to shift a little to the south and east of Indy, and then by 4 o'clock, starting to pack up and leave to the southeast. There are the modest rainfall forecast numbers. Again, we've not had 1/10 of an inch or more on a single day in the last 56, make that 57 days once you throw in today. Friday forecast includes some sunshine, stays cool. It won't be very windy, that'll be nice. And as you get to the afternoon hours, just about anywhere, upper 50s to around 60. Here's the coldest part of the forecast. Saturday morning, lower to middle 30s. I do think we start with frost across much of central Indiana. It will just depend on the wind just a bit. As you look at the 7-day forecast, notice what happens. Temperatures over the weekend stay in the low to mid 60s. They've bounced back a little bit. Chance of showers Monday and Tuesday, showing promise for a warm-up Wednesday. Temperatures into the upper 60s, and indications are beyond the 7-day forecast that will keep temperatures above the average high of 66 degrees. Amanda?
Just seeing those temperatures in the 30s, Kevin, makes me already kind of chilly. Well, college basketball practices are getting underway for many programs at IU. The Hoosiers have some talented new additions and a group that's ready to go after last season ended so abruptly. Brad Brown has a closer look in our Sports Extra Spotlight.
When we last saw the IU men's basketball team, they were walking off the court at the Big Ten Tourney, a winner in the opening round. Within the next couple of days, the rest of the season had been canceled.
It went from a very, very somber bust to a reality of everyone was going to go home, and you weren't real sure when they were coming back. And that's sort of how it ended.
While this season was up in the air for a long time, for now, it's on. In Bloomington, the IU men's team gathered on Tuesday for Media Day, much of it going per usual. Photos to be taken, interviews to be given, and eventually, practice would get underway.
I think we're going to have a group that continues to get better, and we just want to gradually build, and we're going we'll just have to see how it all plays out once the games get here, but I know we have a good group.
IU could be very interesting to watch early on. Trace Jackson-Davis returns for his sophomore campaign, led the Hoosiers in scoring and rebounding among other categories last year.
Everyone from down to the freshmen all the way up to the seniors, everyone likes each other. That's a big part. We all work hard and we hold each other accountable every day. It's just a different vibe this year. It's like everyone's ready to go, especially with an unfinished season last year.
It's the highest rated recruiting class for Coach Miller at IU. Among the new additions, Indiana's Mr. Basketball, Anthony Leal, another Bloomington kid staying close to home. Christian Lander from Evansville. He moved up a year to come to IU. Trey Galloway, another big Indiana get for the Hoosiers. Same for Jordan Geronimo, a 5-star recruit from New Jersey.
It was surreal at first, and I'm starting to get more and more used to it as we keep going along. But I'm just really excited, especially for, like games and all that stuff coming up. Just to be able to play with this jersey on, it means a lot to me.
Each and every day I'm getting stronger and getting the hang of the offense and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm a fast learner, so I feel like I'm going to get the hang of stuff.
The process has been difficult, but it's been fun at the same time, just learning and growing. Just figuring out how does this maneuver through the college life coming from high school. It's fun, though. It's a good experience.
It's been good to kind of be here in the summer and in the fall and get united into the program and stuff. And the seniors and the upperclassmen kind of just took us in under the wings to help us out with all that.
There's very little set in stone when it comes to the schedule. IU will play in the Maui Invitational, albeit in Asheville, North Carolina. Not quite sand and sunshine, but potentially some games against top 10 teams in early December.
We know that we have to be ready for November 25th. And you know what? If we have that game in stone on the 25th, that's what we're getting ready for, and we'll let all the other things sort of fall in line the best we can. But every school, every coach, and every team is dealing with some circumstance of uncertainty. We're not the only one. So how we handle it, realistically is going to be the challenge.
In Bloomington, Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Thanks for making WRTV your choice for news. Join us again at 7.